As you can see, I've got a lot of energy flowing today. This fiery Sag moon is already like I'm tapping into it and it's feeling really, really good. But I want to slow it down for just a moment. You know, we got to get centered in our hearts. That's our home. That's where we go. That's where we start. That's where we create from. So, for my sake and for your sake, and for everyone around you's sake, let us get centered in our heart. So, wherever you're at, permission to breathe, permission to slow down, even more comfy in your spot, wherever you're at. Just start to notice your breath. You may want to slow it down consciously, slow things down. Just noticing your inhale and your exhale. Encourage you to place your hands over your heart to really energetically tap into your heart chakra. Say, yes, this is where I'm placing my attention right now, my attention and my intention to release all tension and just breathe into that heart space. Really try to relax into the heart chakra, almost like hammock on a warm spring day. Just breathe into it. It's a little the autumn and winter that's upon us in the northern hemisphere. It's a warm bath into your heart chakra. Allow that energy to engulf you, to hug you, to feel warm all around you like an embrace of a trusted friend. And as we continue to center into this space, I'm going to begin repeating the awakening part of our heart alignment ritual. And feel free to replace the word God with anything you feel comfortable and connected with. It's to be your devocation, put your stamp on it. Dearest God, blessed be the light, universe, and all of it is. Thank you so much for allowing us this sacred moment in space and time to connect with the gift of our creativity. Today, we honor the creative expression within us and promise to bring it forth with love, to nurture it and protect it as our unique creation. Today, we allow the creative process to unfold in whatever way is divinely intended, and we surrender control for divine grace. Love. We embrace the joy of this experience as our birthright. We love ourselves for allowing our hearts to play today. Thank you for guiding our creative journeys today. May every moment be a living expression of our unconditional love and acceptance of self in all our perfect glory. We humbly thank you for the opportunity to breathe new life into this world and to stand in our power as awakened creators, now and forevermore. We love you. So it is. Ooh, crown chakra tingles. That invocation is very powerful and beautiful. And like I said, part of our heart alignment ritual, which if you haven't yet downloaded the free heart alignment ritual guide, that's also in the description and bio. It's super easy, but we basically just did it. We centered in our hearts, got into our sacred spaces, and we invoked the power of love. So let's talk about this new moon. Ooh, I love new moons. New moons, they're probably my favorite. I don't know. Full moons bring a lot of insights and understandings, but ooh, can they be so jarring sometimes when we're looking at things that we don't necessarily want to see. But new moons, the energy of a new moon is sexy, right? It's the sun and the moon coming together to conceive something. It's quiet and potent, but in this ooey gooey kind of dark way. And I just love the opportunity every month to plant a powerful seed of intention on our creative journey to really truly come back to center each month, reconnect with the archetype of that new moon, which represents an aspect of our wholeness as a conscious being, and and frame it, elevate it, innovate it, and then plant a seed there that's going to grow into something beautiful. So, for those of you who maybe don't have a spiritual practice that you indulge in daily or weekly or whatever, just taking that one time a month to tap into a new moon and a full moon, but especially a new moon, and plant a seed of intention, you are going to really start seeing a huge shift in your life as you're consciously and intentionally guiding the shift. Okay. So allow yourself that opportunity to command over your life and co-create with source by using these new moons. So we're manifesting, we're birthing, we're conceiving what? Sagittarius. Yay, I know Eli's here. He shared with me that he's a Sag moon. So shout out to Eli having a little lunar return sometime this month. But yeah, Sagittarius energy. It is, from my understanding, from my astrology teacher, it really is representative of the energy of growth and the energy of the stories we tell ourselves, right? So you have this dynamic between Gemini and Sag. And Gemini is out there talking and meeting all the people and gathering all the data and using its mercurial power to figure out what's going on. But then it's coming into Sag and it's being used to understand life. It's being used, all that data is being used to form a picture, a story of how things go for you. And as you can kind of start to tell, you may have been gathering data points to tell a pretty awful story about your life. And it's not that that wasn't a correct assumption or a conclusion to draw. It's just that things change. Things change. Life changes. You change. People change. You ascend on your journey and you become more and more conscious and aware and remembering of who you are truly. And yet we tend to cling to these old stories. We tend to cling to this old understanding of life through the lived experiences that we have had, and thus can limit ourselves, not just as individuals, but we limit ourselves as a collective, right? Because Sagittarius and Jupiter also are ruling the collective wisdom of all of the beings here on this planet. And when we are all using old, outdated understandings of life to paint a story about ourselves and our future and what's possible for us, you can start to see how narrow minded and how damaging that can be to the trajectory of humanity. So, our duty, our duty and responsibility as awakened creators, you are, and I am, and anybody who resonates with these messages is, our duty is to more consciously become aware of our stories and more consciously rewrite them, rework them, reconfigure them in a way that honors the truth of who we are, not what we've been, but who we truly are and a soul essence. And the vision, the expansive Jupiterian optimistic vision of what collective humanity could look like. Dream detective, bringing heaven to earth. Yes, 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 yes. So Sag is asking you to tap into the story you really want to live, the story you know you're meant for, the purpose beyond it all. That's where we're going. That's where the archer is aiming its bow, and that's the destiny. That's the destination, your destiny. And so this Sagittarius new moon is saying, Creator, what do you want to create? Who are you now? Because you've been telling this old story for years and years and years, and yet you've been doing all this inner work and you've been changing and growing and evolving. And why are you still reading that same old story? Aren't you bored of it? Is that really as good as it gets for your character, your avatar? I think you can tell a better story. I know you can tell a better story. I know you want to tell a better story because you're here. Awakened creators are here to tell a better story, to create a better world. So that's quite literally what we're going to do today. We are going to write a new story. So I hope you have some paper and I hope you have something to write with. I got my rainbow gel pens from the dollar store. Only the finest creative tools for me, I tell you. I was playing with Play-Doh the other day, and I was so pleased with myself, what I created with my Play-Doh. I thought it was great. Um, but we are going to rewrite this story, all right? We're going to rewrite this story. And before we do that, I want to backtrack just a moment because I'd like to share with you some wisdom that I've learned from my sensei. In my astrological studies and in studying energetics and metaphysics with my teacher, I have learned that belief is a feeling. It's different from an emotion. Emotions, if you can think of emotions as a sea of memories as your soul has gone through all these experiences, and emotion is like this wave of energy from all of these things that have happened to you in the past or that you've experienced in the past and kind of hit you like a wave. And that's why sometimes when we talk about emotions and emotional overwhelm, we tend to listen to the language we as humans use. It's very telling and symbolic, and I know our dream detective Michael will agree. We tend to use very symbolic language, um, and if you listen, if you have the ears to hear, you'll hear the truth in it. And we use a lot of watery uh, metaphors to explain emotions and we talk about drowning in emotions. We talk about being overwhelmed in a wave and swings, and all of this stuff to describe the tumultuousness of emotion. But when I talk about feeling is different. Feeling is like another sense, okay? Like you have your sight, you have your hearing, you have your smell. Feeling is your ability to tune into the vibration of something and feel it, okay? So really emotionally intelligent you would be, although we're all in progress, right? We're learning these things. But our sensitivity as creators is our gift, okay? And part of the gift to yourself that source has given you with your sensitivity is to tune into the feeling of certain. Now, why am I talking about all this? What does this have to do with belief? Well, when you can feel into something, when you can feel it in your heart, you can feel, let's say, for example, you're walking down the street, right? You're bored out of your mind at your job, you're on your break, and you're just walking downtown, trying to get away from it all, and you pass a music shop. And in the window, you see a guitar. And you look at that guitar, and for a moment while you're looking at this guitar, I'm getting chills. You feel the vibration of untapped creative potential within yourself to play that guitar. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do and you've put it on the shelf or you've not expressed it, but you feel it. You feel, oh, wouldn't that be something if I could do that? If I could get that guitar, if I could play that guitar. That feeling in your heart, okay, you can trust it. You can trust it, which means you can build a belief. You can now believe I'm meant to play guitar. Why? Because you felt it in your heart. That is the only proof you need. You don't need anything else to convince you. You don't need someone to tell you, wow, you sure be great at playing guitar. You don't need to have had lessons before. You don't need to even have the money to buy that guitar to know you should be playing that guitar. That feeling in your heart telling you all you need to know. And I implore you to start experimenting with this as I have. Prove it to yourself. And when you feel it in your heart, that's it. It's correct for you. It's correct for you. You don't need any more proof. You don't need to know how. You don't need to know when. You just know that you feel it in your heart so you can hang a belief on it. Okay? You can decide that it's true for you. And that's the thing about belief. We get to decide what we believe. We get to choose. You are the authority over your life and your beliefs. And you get to choose who you believe, even if, say, you believe some spiritual leader or something. You still decide to believe that person. You still decide. And how do you decide to believe? Because you felt a resonance in your heart. That's why you believe that person. So, when it comes to your creative journey, when you feel it in your heart, you get to decide to believe it. Whether it's the fact that you believe and you feel in your heart you will be a best-selling author one day. You feel it and decide in your heart you will own a business downtown in your local town one day. Whether you believe it or feel it in your heart that you will teach children how to paint one day, like you get to choose to trust that, which is why we talk so much about heart alignment, because if you're not connected here, you won't hear it. Or it'll be covered up by thinking, it'll be covered up by other people's opinions, it will be distorted by fear, and you won't get a clear read on what your heart truly feels is true for you. So it's important that you protect that belief when you feel it, okay? It is a heart knowing. It's stronger than anything. And I forget which culture I remember reading about in a book that says that gestures towards the heart when they say the word I know. Not I know, right? In this Western world, we've been taught I know. Like it's a lot, like we're supposed to know it up here in a logical, it's supposed to make sense, it's supposed to be a conclusion, like a math problem based on data that we've calculated it to be so, and therefore we know. Awakened creators know. We know it here. Because why? We felt it. We felt it in our heart. I don't have to explain to you why I believe that we will have millions of people in this community one day. I don't have to have the proof. I know it in my heart. I feel it in my heart. The things you want to accomplish and do in your life on your creative journey, if you feel it in your heart, that is it. You don't need anyone else to tell you it's going to happen. You felt it. Therefore, it is true. Believe it. Believe it. Give yourself a chance to just believe it, just based on that. And it will change your life. It will transform you completely when you can finally decide that's all the proof you need. You will be on your way. And if that message resonates with you, you're going to absolutely love the channel message that came through today. Those of you who missed the intro, that's a new development. Messages are going to start coming every single day. You can find them on my website at weareawakenedcreatives.com or link in the bio if you're on Instagram. Reminisce opening myself up to receive these messages, light languages, channel them, give them directly to you. Minimal editing. Today's messages, I didn't even edit it at all. So forgive the first like minute of me just like waiting for it to come through. But I'm only gonna clip off that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna give it to you raw because that's how there's no need. That message is available. But this moon is saying, look, it's time for you to start believing. It's time for you to let go of who you were. Let's write a new story based on who you are now, who you're becoming, the person that you are embodying. That is who is in charge now. And it's going to be beyond your wildest dreams. That's all I can tell you. I know that for certain. I know that for certain. All of you watching this, all of you putting in the time to be here, you have a mission that is beyond important. And I know you're going to do it. I know you are devoted and dedicated to your heart, which is why you're here. So let's literally rewrite our story. This is super fun. Those of you who are writers, you may have done this practice before for one of your stories. But even if you're not a writer, if you've ever read a book or you've been to the bookstore and you've like opened the jacket of the book and you know that little blurb, or it's on the back of the book, there's a little blurb, that's called a log line. And a log line is intended to summarize the plot of the story. There's a character, conflict, thing that happens, there's an ultimate resolution. That's supposed to grab you and hook you and tell you what this story is about. Well, we are going to take that formula for a log line and we are going to use it in an inspired way to rewrite our own stories with ourselves main characters, and I cannot wait to hear what you come up with because it's going to be good. So grab your notepad, and I'm going to walk you through this exercise. These creative rituals, these are meant to be interactive. We're going to apply the energy to a practice. So here we go. I think I'll use pink. Feeling pink today. All right, so here's the log line. I wish I could drop it in the chat, but we'll go step by step, okay? I'm going to read it out to you first so you can understand how we're going to plug and play this. After, okay, I'm going to put up my hands like this when it's like, okay? After old stories left behind, a newly feeling you want to embody plus your empowered new identity decides to your new heart aligned intentions and goals in order to fulfill your life's purpose. Now that sounds like a pretty epic log line, and you might be thinking like, I am supposed to figure out my life's purpose in 20 minutes, Amanda. How am I supposed to do that? Trust me, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. So the first thing I want you to decide what pronouns you're gonna use, because you're gonna need to use them. Write those down. And then I want you to answer this question. You're welcome to put it in the chat if you'd like to share as you go along, or you can wait to the end to share your whole log line if you'd rather do that. But I want you to think about, what is this old story you're leaving behind? I'm going to give you some examples. What is this old story you're leaving behind? So I want you to think about how far you've come and what you've grown out of. Okay, I'm not saying you have to be fully broken free from it, but I guarantee you most of you are like it's on its way out of your life. There's something on its way out of your life that you're no longer doing. You're not engaged anymore. You're just not that person. Okay, so try to capture, what is this old story you're leaving behind, and wrap it up into maybe 7 to 10 words max. So for example, being surrounded by people who didn't support me. Maybe that's the old story you're leaving behind. Maybe that is how you grew up, but it's not really how you are anymore. You're actually starting to notice you're being surrounded by people who love you and support you and want you to grow. And so that old story you're leaving behind is that you were surrounded by people who didn't support you. Okay? Maybe your old story is you used to not believe in yourself, right? So not believing in myself was the old story. Maybe the old story you're leaving behind. And share yours in the chat if you have them, just to inspire others who might be struggling to think of theirs. Maybe you used to think you weren't a very good artist. Okay? You're always trash talking your creations. You're always comparing yourself to other people, like you used to be like really hardcore that way, and now you're really starting to learn to appreciate yourself more and less. So we're trying to capture, what's that old story that's falling out of your life right now. Holy Trinity says that I'm limited, right? Okay, that's a great one. So you used to believe you were limited, that there was only so far you could go, you could only do so much, that there were limitations on what was possible for you. Okay? So write down, what's that old story you're leaving behind. And I'm going to give myself a moment to contemplate this. For me, I want to do this too. Old story I'm leaving behind. And maybe you have a couple. Go ahead and write down all of the different ones that you can think of. That way you have choices later You can write a couple of these log lines. You don't have to choose to, to do just one, but we're just going to do one together. And then later when we're done, you can write a few more. Okay. All right. So try to capture that old story in a few words, best you can. All right. Ron, share an old story. I'm not worthy. That's a big one. I was right there with you. I learned that same one, especially this year, right? So if you want to think about, even because I know 2023, this was a transformative year for a lot of people. Really powerful shifts and changes and breakaways from old stories. So what was that thing you broke free from this year, or that you've noticed you're starting to transcend it? Right. The next thing I want you to try to capture is, what is, itty bitty, what I do and create doesn't matter. That's a great, yes, right? That's the old story, telling ourselves what I do and create doesn't matter. Nobody cares, right? That's the old story. Okay, now I want you to start thinking about, what's this new feeling you want to embody daily. Okay, and you may need to breathe into this, project your consciousness into the future a little bit, or if you already are starting to practice it, a little clunky maybe, but you're getting better at embodying this new feeling daily. What is that new feeling? Is it appreciation, presence, confidence, joyfulness, self love? What's this new feeling that you're starting to embody daily that's growing? That's part of the new story. That's part of the new you. That maybe it's just a little seedling right now, but you know, it's going to become this beautiful anchor, this oak tree. Okay, what's this feeling? What's this feeling? Try to capture that feeling. What's that feeling? This new feeling that you're going to be embodying more and more as you shed that old story. Maybe you write a couple down so you have options when we get to the end. And then, what's the new empowered identity you're starting to own? What's the new empowered identity you are starting to own? So you should have a feeling word, and then you should have an identity word. So what I mean by that is, this new empowered identity. Maybe you're starting to really own the fact that you're an artist. Like the word artist. You're starting to claim it. Maybe it's that you're a writer, a filmmaker. You can empower yourself with your creative identity. Okay? Or maybe it's something bigger than your creativity alone, that it's the fact that you're becoming a business owner, right? This new empowered identity is that you own a business, you own your own business. Or maybe, I thought this one was interesting, this example came through, a community influencer, right? Maybe that's your new empowered identity that's coming online. What is this new identity that you're stepping into, or that you want to start stepping into? Okay, musician, uh, something like that. So, what's this new identity? So it should be coupled with this feeling. It's this new feeling and this new identity. Okay. part identity together. So in my example, maybe I chose the feeling confidence is that new feeling I want to start embodying daily. Community influencer is that identity that I'm stepping into. So I'm becoming this confident community influencer, all right? Or I'm becoming a joyful artist. So this feeling of joy, enjoyment, daily joyfulness, and really claiming myself as an artist, as a creator, and a business owner. So a joyful artist and business owner. So find the feeling and the identity in one. This is the new story. This is the new way you're going to feel and the new identity you are taking up. This is your character change. This is your wardrobe change. You're changing character right now at this point in the cosmic energies. God's asking you to step into a new character. Now, this is the person that you were always meant to be. What is that feeling? What is that identity? Right. Now let's keep going. We're almost done. Now, if this is who you are now, if this feeling and this identity is who you are, who you're becoming, what is the new heart aligned intention and goal of this that you are? What are your new heart aligned intentions and goals for the future as this new being? So we're trying to figure out what's the new quest you're on? What is this new character questing for now that they've left that old story behind? They're no longer fighting those battles, those dragons, those demons. They've moved on. They've changed and transformed. Now they have this new quest. And the quest is maybe, here's some examples, to impact the local community by opening galleries for independent artists. Maybe it's to collaborate with other musicians and sell out arenas. What's the new heart aligned intention or goal? Make us to write inspiring, vulnerable stories that impact millions. Create a safe space for creators locally to evolve as artists. What is this new quest you're on? Free from the past. This new person you are that you're becoming, that you're stepping into. What are their intentions and goals for the future? What is their new quest? And you can have more than one quest. Okay, some are bigger than others. If you've ever played a video game, you know there's usually a main quest, right? A main objective, and then there's all these little side quests. So you can have more than one. Don't feel limited to this exercise to have to choose. Okay. This is just to help you get an idea of the new you, the new story. So relax, just write down a couple of ideas, remembering what I said at the beginning. If you feel it in your heart, it is correct. Do not limit yourself at this point in the exercise by saying, oh, but that intention and goal seems so impossible. And I don't know how I would, and I don't even have that guitar. How am I supposed to sell out arenas? Feel it in your heart. It is correct. You can believe. Suspend logic right now. The new you. What is its intention and goal for the future? What quest is that new you? Bronze is spreading love and showing people that there's magic everywhere. Fantastic. See if you can get a little more specific. Where will you do that? How will you do that? Are you doing that through your artwork? Are you doing that through your community? And Dream State shares that this may require some more one-on-one time to sit with this deeper. Absolutely. Absolutely. Take as much time as you need. Just hear more and practice and have a little fun. All right. So again, you might have a lot of quests. Uh, and that's you can definitely spend more time with this later. Okay. Now, the last piece of the puzzle, find the old story you're leaving behind. Identify the new feeling you wish to embody, that you're practicing embodying daily, the new identity that you are empowering yourself to claim, the new intent and goals you have as this new identity. And now I want you to zoom out, okay? And I know this could sound like a big question, but chew on it a little bit. What is the life purpose of this new you? Don't laugh. I know. You're like, if I knew that, I would be here. Zoom out. Pretend you're looking at someone else. Pretend you're doing a reading comprehension exercise. And this is a character in the story. Okay, this character, okay, they want to be a confident business owner. They want to make create change in their local community. Okay, what do I think that character's like purpose is? Like, why are they doing this? Why? Why are they doing this? Why do they care so much about creating spaces in their local community for artists to grow? Is it to shift their small town towards acceptance, to show their kids that they can succeed doing what they love? What's the why behind this intention and goal? To bring new levels of love to the planet, right? To raise the vibe of the planet. Give yourself an opportunity to consider the why behind these intentions and goals. And if it helps to detach from what you've written and look at it as if you aren't the person, look at it as a character that you are examining, try that. And it maybe won't feel so much pressure to figure it out. This isn't about figuring it out. This is about playing with variations. So I gave you some examples. I'm going to sit with my why for a minute. I'm going to read you the example that I did when I was practicing this, and then I'll get to reworking mine. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to plug our answers now back into that formula, and this may take you a little editing to get grammatically make sense. Right? So it starts with the word after, because again, we're leaving that story behind. It's done. Okay. So after old stories been left. So in my example, I wrote, after being surrounded by people who didn't support them, because in my example, my pronouns were they, them. After being surrounded by people who didn't support them, a newly, now here's where you'll put the feeling and the identity, a newly self-loving sculptor decides to, because we are deciding to follow our cards here, decides to, my intention and goal, impact the local community by opening an independent gallery in order to, here's my why, shift their small town towards acceptance. So my example of wildlife says, after being surrounded by people who didn't support them, a newly self-loving sculptor decides to impact the local community by opening an independent gallery in order to shift their small town toward acceptance. Bravo, imaginary creator. I want to read your story. I want to see that story come to life. Yes, change your small town. Yes, bring acceptance to your community. Yes, there's power in this exercise. So let's say, so after you're going to plug in your old story, a newly, because we're acknowledging that you're newly stepping into this feeling, this identity, decides to, now here's where you put in your intention and goal, in order to give us your why. So I'm going to try to plug mine in and see if it makes sense. All right. I'm going to read mine to help those of you who maybe are not sure how to do this. So again, you're going to say after the old story, a newly embodied emotion plus new identity decides to, intention and goal, in order to, your why, okay, fulfill your purpose. Mine says, after not believing in or loving herself, a newly self-loving and joyful community leader, that's me, decides to inspire millions of artists worldwide in order to bring more love to the planet Earth. You can do this. I know you can. Those of you who have completed the exercise, I would love to hear your log lines. All right, they're flowing in. Here we go. Let's pull some books off the shelf, shall we? Let's read some new, more uplifting stories, right? Let's read some new stories. After a life of being told she wouldn't amount to anything, a now confident, successful artist brings belief, love, creative leadership, and support to young artists in her local community. Holy crap. Yes! Woo! Publish that book. Yeah. Yes. You may have more than one. You will probably will have more than one story, right? All the log lines you feel called to remember. There are many quests. This series, right? We're like the Harry Potters. We got 6, 7, 8 books in our series. So here we go. Bravo. Yes, your first title, instant bestseller. I love it. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. Oh, I can't wait to hear the rest of it. As you're gathering up your log lines, I have some advice for you. We are the Harry Potters. Yes, we're the new wizards and wizards. I don't know. Are we all wizards? Whatever. We are the new wizards and witches, I guess, is what they would say, of the world. We're the change makers. This is what we do. So write your new stories, print them out, keep them somewhere, memorize them. When you start feeling yourself sliding back to your old story, remember the new one. Read it out loud like you're reading yourself a bedtime story, and especially read it on the new moon, which is apexing on the 12th of December, 12/12. I would recommend that you read this while looking in the mirror, okay? Remember who you are, creator. Remember who you are, not who you've been, who you are, okay? You got this, you got this. I know some of you had a lot. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute to kind of get it all down, but I love this exercise. I really hope that you did too, that you enjoyed an opportunity to truly rework your own story. And want the if you want the logline formula, send me a DM. Send me a DM on Instagram. Those of you who are on the other platforms, or actually, I will put it in the Facebook and YouTube descriptions. But if you're on Instagram, oh, I'll stick it in the comments after we're done today. So you'll have the formula and you can practice it and write as many story log lines as you'd like. Thank you to Dream State Visions for sharing yours before we go. And I'm really excited about our new stories. In fact, I'm feeling called to, if you're willing to share yours with me, um, well, if you're willing to share them with the community, could you please share them with me? I would love to create a post about this exercise that we did and give people examples and tag you in the page. So if that's something you're interested, if you're not afraid of being vulnerable and kind of put your life story on blast and your hopes and dreams for the future, I think it could be really potent too, because when other people see what you want to do and accomplish in the new story, we are affirming it with you. We got another one coming in from Holy Trinity. Mm, okay. I'll just going to read this verbatim, but I might switch for grammar if I post this online. So after I am limited, a newly abundant Heyoka Empress, wow, and decides to create a healing space of unconditional love by sharing her truth through artistic expression in order to heal the collective. Holy smokes! Woo! Wow. I gotta Google what a Heyoka Empress is, first of all. I would love to learn more about this, but absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. So, what I would say for that first part, it would say after being limited or after limiting myself or herself, however you want to word that. But yes, absolutely, you are newly abundant. You are a Heyoka Empress. You are creating a healing space of unconditional love and sharing your truth or artistic expression in order to feel connected. Absolutely. It was challenging to get specific. You did rock it. Yeah, dream state. Um, you did rock it, Holy Trinity. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and I'm glad that you mentioned getting specific because this advice goes to writers writing log lines for their novels and us in this exercise. The more specific we are, I think, the better. Um, it, I think your why gets to be a little more generalized, right? But your intentions and your goals, let's get a little more. And remember that, you know, you're not held to this or anything, but that if you do feel it in your heart, it gets to be correct and true for you, even if you can't see how or why you will accomplish what you set out to. Okay, this is a very powerful, potent moon, and so I implore you to dream big. Don't limit yourself. Right? We are just talking about that. Yeah. So don't limit yourself. Um, Yes, okay, Holy Trinity. So, right, you could say after telling themselves the lie that they are limited, or after lying to herself for years that she was limited. Um, Beautiful. I love this. All right, so what are we doing next? Um, those of you who wish to share, you've maybe got a few more minutes to do so. No worries if you don't. You can always share them in the comments after I post the replay of the video. Um, Once you finally get yours finished, that would be great. And then let me know if I have your permission to create a collective post on it. So the next lunar get to Cancer energy, that's my midheaven, that's my career trajectory. So maybe it'll be a really pivotal moment for awakened creators, who knows. But don't forget, channeled daily messages are coming your way starting today. Today's messages was a doozy filled with beautiful, beautiful wisdom and light language. You can download that now at my website at weareawakenedcreators.com, link in my bio. But enjoy it and more to come. I promise, Spirit, I won't let you down. I won't let you down. I will channel, and I don't care if people think I'm weird or whatever. I'm gonna do what I feel called to do. So thank you all for bearing witness to my own courageousness. Um, I am a newly courageous channel, spiritual channel. Maybe that'll be the next rewrite, right? All of your friendship and connection, your engagement, your shares. Those of you who share in your stories, who comment, who like, you don't understand maybe how much that helps. It really does. It gets the word out there about our community. People who need awakened creators may not even know it exists, and just by you sharing what you love about it, or sharing a link, or sharing a video, you could totally be transforming someone's life and giving them the family that they always wanted. So give someone this community by sharing about it. Thank you in advance. And I can't wait to read the rest of your stories. Be sure to share them in the comments. I love you. And I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.